you believe that Trump is trying to pass a nationwide abortion ban, this video is for you. Greetings, fellow Earthlings. My name is Amber, better known as Eliteaf Wellness or Eliteaf Patriot over on TikTok and Meta, and in my last video, we talked a lot about the negatives for Minnesota State Governor Tim Walz, who is now our Democratic vice presidential nominee. I broke down some of his policies and shared some horror stories about his woke agenda, and since then I've been contacted by countless Minnesota residents who have all said that this man has single-handedly destroyed their state, its people, and will absolutely destroy this country if he gets the chance in office. I've also been encouraged to watch a documentary here on YouTube titled The Fall of Minneapolis, which I'm sure will put a lot more into perspective. The goal of this video was originally to go at the Republican Party in a very similar manner, but as I started researching and really breaking things down, I started to realize the amount of propaganda that's running rampant. Like, it's absolutely insane. You have people on the left screaming about issues that don't even pertain to the Republican Party. For example, Project 2025. Not only does Trump not endorse this project, but the claims that are being made aren't even in the 900-page document. And it's honestly really funny when you try to ask these people to support the claims that they're making by providing page numbers within the actual document. They give you the runaround, call you a maggot, say that you're uneducated, when all you're trying to do is research and educate yourself. And hey, maybe I missed those things when I read through Project 2025 and Agenda 47 myself. So if I'm wrong, please let me know down below. I do plan on making an entirely separate video about the misconceptions of Project 2025 and Agenda 47, but for today, let's address the elephant in the room. The main thing with Republicans and the Conservative Party in general is abortion. Now, personally, I don't agree with abortion for myself, but that doesn't mean that I don't see the value for other women. I don't see myself ever getting an abortion, but I do believe that women within reason should have the choice to terminate a pregnancy before a certain gestation. Now, because Trump appointed 3 Supreme Justices who subsequently overturned Roe v. Wade, the left automatically assumed that he was 100% pro-life, with no exceptions. They believe that he doesn't think women should ever get an abortion, even in a case of rape, incest, or medical necessity. That's simply not true. It's actually the opposite. He said with the reversal of Roe v. Wade, access to abortions would be left up to the state as long as they include exemptions for rape, incest, and the life of the pregnant woman. So every single argument that the left has, aside from I just don't want to have a baby, has been dismantled. Trump believes that women should have access to abortion in cases of rape, incest, or medical necessity. So really all these people are concerned about is using abortion as birth control. I will stop here just to say that I do believe that our education around fertility and pregnancy in general does need to change, as well as women's healthcare, like real healthcare, like finding the root cause to things like infertility, PCOS, and endometriosis. I don't think this is where our focus should be. I personally think that access to education regarding one's cycle would help mitigate unwanted pregnancies and access to abortions in the first place. But who can make money off of women that are actually empowered and educated, right? So anyway, getting back on topic, if you do try to research Trump's stance on abortion, the very first headline is Trump administration wants to take away women's rights. Now, this has gone so far that people genuinely are starting to believe that Trump wants to take away a woman's right to vote. Planned Parenthood paid a lot of money to have this be the first search that pops up, so let's talk about it. Planned Parenthood believes that under the Trump administration, people risk losing access to birth control. That is a very big claim. Let's see if they can back it up. Trump supposedly implemented a gag rule for Title X, which banned doctors in the program from telling women about how they could safely and legally access abortion, but then they go on to say this made it impossible for patients in the program to access birth control. Abortions are not birth control. Abortion is the termination of a pregnancy, whereas birth control is preventing a pregnancy from happening in the first place. We do understand the difference, correct? Because that's a big difference. It's a big difference. But it does get weirder though if you go back to the Planned Parenthood website. It says the new rule forced Planned Parenthood health centers to withdraw from the Title X program. So because these doctors couldn't talk about abortion, they left the program, which provided women in rural Black and Latino communities access to healthcare, such as wellness exams, birth control, STD testing, and cancer screenings, and then blamed it on the Trump administration, all because their doctors couldn't refer patients to have an abortion. This makes me wonder how much these doctors were actually being paid in the first place to complete these procedures. Why would you stop providing care to women all because you couldn't talk about abortion? That seems really weird to me. That was a choice made by Planned Parenthood to stop providing access to women's health care. That had nothing to do with the Trump administration, but they still took the fall for it. Cool, that was the TikTok.
Amber from the future here. I just wanted to clear up a few things about the gag order itself because I don't think I effectively was able to communicate this in the video while I was recording. So the gag order itself makes it illegal for doctors to bring up abortion to the patient first. However, if the patient asks about receiving an abortion first, then they can go and discuss treatment options. So to me, this just means that women aren't pressured or forced into receiving an abortion that they're not even sure about to begin with. It's not like people aren't aware about abortions, like they don't know that they exist, but this gag order ensures that women are made aware of all of their treatment options instead of just being presented one. Anyway, I hope that clears it up. Let's get back to the video.
I want to bring up a video about the Harris-Walz campaign and what their whole viewpoint on this entire issue is as well. Ding.
It's Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota.
And my record is so pro-choice, Nancy Pelosi asked me if I should tone it down. I stand with Planned Parenthood.
Here are some facts you need to know about Walz. First of all, Walz signed a bill allowing the killing of preborn babies at any stage, even up until birth. Governor Walz also eliminated state funding for pregnancy resource centers, which offer material assistance to babies and families in need.
So not only are they supporting full-term abortions, they're actively taking away resources for families and mothers specifically. What kind of sadist do you have to be to support something like that? So because they're so radically extreme on the left, supporting full-term abortions, as well as taking away women's access to certain programs, they have to project that onto the right to make themselves seem more progressive and less like insane baby blood drinkers. Because if it was really about a woman's right to choose, why are they taking away support for women who choose to have babies? Why are they only interested in supporting women who choose to abort their unborn children? Anyway, going back to Roe v. Wade, the subject is honestly so funny to me because women for the longest were screaming about getting the government out of their uteruses. And the moment the government starts to do that, it's not what any woman wants anymore. You can't ask the government to stay out of your uterus and then get mad when they pass legislation that removes them from having a say in it. But here's what Trump had to say when asked directly if he would ever support a federal abortion ban. You don't need an abortion ban. Roe v. Wade wasn't about abortion as much as it was bringing it back to the states so that the states would negotiate deals. Florida is going to be different from Georgia, and Georgia is going to be different from other places. So in bringing this issue back to the states, he's bringing this issue back to the people and giving you the power to decide what happens with your rights and with your body. If you want access to abortion up until birth, I don't know who the would want that, but that's neither here nor there. Move to a state that allows you to do that. If you don't think women should ever get an abortion, move to a state that has an all-out ban. If you really like where you live and you don't want to move or you can't afford to move, guess what? Your votes matter more in local and state elections than they do on a federal level. This is where you get to take the time to research the people who are running for office in your state and what their policies entail. This is such a divisive issue. We are never going to all agree, whether it be for religious or personal reasons. But what Trump did is he leveled the playing field by bringing this issue back to the people and putting it in your hands. He then went on to say that there will never be a chance of a federal abortion ban passing. He's not trying to ban abortion federally, it's just not what he's trying to do. In fact, he recently said that Arizona's new court ruling, which upholds a near total ban, has gone too far and needs to be checked, and it will be because there's a temporary block on this ruling. So just from this subject alone, it's so clear the amount of propaganda and misinformation that comes from mainstream media in regards to the Republican Party and Trump in general. People don't do enough research, and honestly, it drives me crazy. It's one thing if you just simply don't have the time to research for yourself because we're all overworked and still somehow broke. But when you're presented with information that goes against your belief system, it is your responsibility at the very least to consider the possibility that you may be wrong. Before I started researching this topic for myself, I genuinely believed that Trump was against all abortions. I thought he was 100% pro-life and was definitely going to implement an abortion ban nationwide. But I've since realized that his policies honestly are not as extreme as mainstream media makes them out to be. So with all of this information, knowing that Trump is not fully against abortion, and also knowing that Planned Parenthood willingly decided to leave Title X because they couldn't push abortion before making sure that women knew all of their options, has your opinion on the Trump administration changed? I know mine has. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I hope you take this information and continue digging for yourself so that you can draw your own conclusions, formulate your own opinions, instead of blindly accepting someone else's narrative. If you want to hear more from me, make sure to subscribe and hit that little notification bell so you never miss another video. And as always, I look forward to hearing your thoughts about all of this down below.